Hello, welcome, Thomas. It's wonderful to have you on Collab Cloud. This talk series is called Beyond Borders. It's about architects and designers who have gone beyond the borders, beyond the norms of being in a box, and done something exceptional. Your journey has been very inspiring, but I would like to ask you that what inspired you choose the field of architecture and tell us something about your minimalistic design style.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Ritika, very much, and thank you, Priya, very much for inviting me to this fantastic initiative. I think you're doing just a great job together, and yeah, the whole initiative is massive, and it's a really good job. So keep on going like this because you're just so strong, and we need something like this. Okay.
Yeah.
So to ask you your question, what inspires me? What inspired me to make architecture. My passion for architecture is really far back in time. I started prowling from an early age on the building site, I have to say. I was about 8 years old when my grandfather took me to see how things were built and how reality took shape. Okay, and I was shocked. I have to say, I was really fascinated. I was shocked by complexity. I was fascinated by ingenuity. I was troubled by the extreme toil of things. Everything was really hard to do. Okay, so that was really fascinating to me. And so probably in those years, I developed a natural inclination towards the possibility of physical effects in the world in a way. So to have a role in what we could say the spectacle of life. Huh? So because in fact, at the end of the day, architecture is the stage of our biographies. It is the book on which we write our stories, our aspirations, our dreams, our hopes, in a way, our most intimate needs and dreams, in a way. So probably in those very years, I sharpened one of my decisive weapons. I'm used to say an infinite and insatiable curiosity. Yes, because whether you like it or not, architecture makes you feel perpetually ignorant, inadequate, perpetually not ready. So the blank sheet every single time terrifies you as if it were the first time. And curiosity, the thirst to know, I would say, is the only antidote to the vertigo of emptiness, in my opinion. So I'm used to say these words about this. And so over time, I traveled, I read, I studied, I saw, I savored, I visited places, I knew people and things, different spaces, and different feelings about staying in a place. Okay, and that was really important to me. I patiently worked out a fragile balance, and that is really important, a balance between design and landscape, between the form of architecture and the spirit of places, between the will for personal affirmation and collective needs, in a way. I've always been fascinated by the possibility of accomplishing something by the bare minimum, yet with dignity, with pride, and power, in a way. And I've always cultivated an idea of architecture intentionally frugal, richly poor, conscious, sensitive, in a way, not as efficient, as effective in interpreting its relationship with the world and with the people.
Yeah, yeah. It's absolutely, I mean, and all of that reflects in the work that even your Instagram, the images that you have put up, everything reflects your personality and is an extension of you. So if I have to ask you this question, what does a day in the life of Thomas look like today and before COVID?
This is quite interesting. Well, fortunately, I don't think that many changes have come into my everyday life because of COVID-19. This is really a fortune, I would say. I'm talking about my job and the daily work routine, so to speak, because obviously many more changes and even breaks in some cases have affected my personal life. On the contrary, I could not see my family, I could not meet my friends, I could not go out for a walk, and so on. Okay, so I think you can easily understand that.
Yeah.
So I still go to the office at 9 a.m. in the morning and still go out of the office at 9 p.m. in the evening. So
Oh,
nothing's really changed in my life. That's a kind of sacred, daily, constant reality, I would say. So, and that is a fortune in a way. So for 3 months, and this is interesting, for 3 months, so February, March, and then May, all of the guys of my team, me included, have moved the whole office to their homes, so independently, I would say. So for that period, we just got digital contacts and relations. And I must admit that working smart from home was
yeah,
amazing at the beginning for the possibility to take it slow and saving the time usually dedicated to car and traffic jams and so on. But it soon became a kind of prison where I could not free my mind from doing something every single moment, going straight up to 17 or 18 working hours per day. That was absolutely insane. That was really insane. So there was a kind of prison, a kind of golden cage, I would say. So, but the positive consequence of that was that we had the chance to experiment new ways of communicating, obviously, and that was quite new for us in a way, and we found that so effective that we are still having remote meetings with clients every single time this can be a good idea, for example, and when the physical presence is not so crucial in the process of evaluation, for instance. Okay, so
yeah.
we lived a fantastic paradox. Having the most of the time in our hands every day, we learn to save time and be more effective, so to speak, on the contrary. So the time is precious, and time is precious, the most precious thing we have in life, I could say. And that was
Right.
really, really funny in a way.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the situation with most of us currently. And instead of a 12-hour work schedules, we've all moved to 16, 17 hours of working from home, because sometimes you're working
That
in the
was crazy.
night.
Believe me, that was
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. Never again. Never again. That was really, really proving. Absolutely. Never again.
So that drives me to my next question, that today, if you had to mentor an architecture student, how would you guide them?
So this is strictly connected with my activity on teaching. And my relationship with teaching is visceral in some terms. I could never help it. And ever since still being a student at the college, I accepted the task of evaluating and correcting within various courses at the university, of course, the projects of my colleagues of a few years younger. And I must admit, it was really, really embarrassing at the beginning, but at the same time, obviously galvanizing, because a great deal of trust had been placed in my hands directly. And shortly after graduation, I took on my first official teaching assignment. It was about 2004, I think. And since then, I have never stopped teaching. And over the years, I've taught in lots of Italian university and lectured in various international institutes. For example, Domus Academy in Milan, where I met my friend Priyal. My very first lesson for 16 years now always opens with these words, more or less. Okay. Believe it or not, each of you has a great talent. Never let anyone tell you that you are worth nothing, that you cannot, that you will not succeed, that you will do not have the necessary skills, because it's all bullshit. I don't know if I can use this word,
Yes,
but I
you
can say
can.
it. It's all bullshit. Okay. Those who didn't make it want you to think it's like that.
Yeah.
And you all have a talent, be sure of that. Real challenge is to recognize it, to identify it, to narrow it, to cultivate it, to grow it, to make it become the most precious and priceless of goods and assets, I would say. So the world needs your freshness, your energy, your skills, your dreams, and we all desperately need your purity and flair, okay? Because
Yeah.
you are the only hope we have to a better world. So this more or less is the beginning of my first lesson for 16 years, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And as you rightly said, when you know that you're inspiring someone, it becomes a responsibility. So you whatever you post is affecting somebody else, and that is a huge responsibility. And
Yeah, yeah,
and when I see your page, it reminds me of a personality that is calm and minimal in their thought process. So it in a way also represents you and your thought process.
yeah,
So
yeah, definitely. You're right. Thank you. You're so smart.
yeah. So then coming to the current situation, and my last question, this year 2020 has put us all into thinking outside the box, with our work and everything. So what are some of the modifications that you are implying with regard to your design process, or some efficiency in assisting your clients, etc.?
Well, as I mentioned before, fortunately, we did not experience strong damages to our design and productive process during
Right.
quarantine. But I could say, on the contrary, that the forced physical distance and division has led us to a major individual concentration on things and made us understand, first of all, the productive potential everyone has when precisely focused and far from common distractions, I would say. Okay, for instance, we set a rule for which smartphones could not be used in precise moments of the day. Okay, so to be fully dedicated to the ongoing activities on that same moment, on those same moments. Okay, so obviously this was a pact of loyalty between us because nobody could directly control anyone else. But the result of of this was really significant, so that we experienced a strong increasing in design outputs and quality of ideas emerging during these blackout moments, we could call them. Okay, so that was stunning, absolutely stunning. This was absolutely funny, but at the same time very serious thing to discover. Okay, so thinking outside the box can also mean learn from the mistakes the status quo indicates as a value. Okay, such as always being connected without any pause, without any rest. I think this is bullshit. Again, okay, this is bullshit
Yes.
again. And I want to think outside the box, just wanting silence and private concentration. Okay, so working slow, and when I decided it is the best moment to do that. Okay, not when you want me to do that, but when I want to do that. So I want to think outside the box, saying that the best things come when you're not exactly under the pressure to do them. So let me decide on when, where, and who. So the pandemic taught me we can still count on natural instinct and on a slower way to work, because brain is as fast as a lighting, but at the same time doesn't like multitasking. Absolutely. So I learned to recognize the danger of the burnout syndrome, I could say, and now I'm ready to win by going slow. Please be sure of that. Never again 17 or 18 hours per day, but going slow.
Yeah, you don't want to burn yourself out. On a parting note, while wrapping up this conversation, which has been very amazing and very inspiring, and I hope all my audience and everybody who's attending Collab Cloud would resonate with what you said today. I would like you to leave us all with a message, for the future.
Okay. Well, the message for the future is about optimism. Okay. We don't have to feel down. We don't have to feel discouraged, because we must build a bright future towards. Okay. So we must work together again to build a bright future, because we can do that. And don't let anyone tell us we cannot, because we can and we will do it. Okay. Thank you very much again for your invitation. Thank you, Cloud, and peace to all of the audience out there.